Behind me is the perfect metaphor for the city. Abandoned buildings that used to house thousands, now completely empty. And in front of them, demolishing and rebuilding. This is a story about saving a city from itself. A story that has played out in Bogota, Colombia. Now it's here. But there are some glitches. Pretoria, Tshwane, where theatre is now a parking lot. A decent suburb, now known for illicit trade and illegal immigration. In Pretoria, property values rise in the east and fall in the west, unless you're a 3.5 billion rand abandoned mall. All this while the city center has a reputation for pollution, overcrowding, and neglect. I wonder why. But there are some changes happening right now, and based on what I'm about to tell you, this might become your favorite city in the world. Okay, sorry. In this part of the country.
It's a fucking amazing place, man. Like I said, look at the car guards, man. Joseph is a car guard, he's a hobo.
I think it's better now. It has improved, actually. There's no McDonald's here.
Pretoria Central, you would have everything you need. In Pretoria East, you have everything you want, and yes.
Pretoria is starting to feel different. Why?
I personally believe that Pretoria is the safest in all these metros.
I've gone to the city, CBD, and I've been the safest I've been.
Roads are a bit bad here and there, but I see they are fixing, you know.
I think they have made sure clean.
They're demolishing all buildings. They're calling investors to come to say, this is the space. Invest.
But Sunnyside, no. I don't like it. Sorry, people. I sadly say accept it.
So how do we make sense of this mix of decline and optimism? The city center of Pretoria in particular is in an interesting phase. I'm talking about the focus on public services actually reaching people, public spaces being public and functional again. People are even talking about the environment being clean and safe again.
I think the mayor of Pretoria realized or Utweri, the capital of South Africa. I'm impressed, guys.
Behind me is one of the bus terminals of Tshwane, Pretoria. And while transport and load shedding remain issues, people are starting to feel a bit more optimistic about the city. At this hour though, you can see how big of a deal the buses are. All the school kids coming from school, people coming from work. There's a bunch of them, especially on the street, which is Pretoria Street. Trains are also back. By the way, the regular metro train station, RDP, as a security guard once called it, is actually right next door from the How train station. They're divided by a wall. Anyway, why does all this matter? Well, I'll start here. I love this quote by the former mayor of Bogota. A child in a low-income household can enjoy a much higher quality of life if they have access to excellent public spaces, transit, and schools. We're talking about access, convenience, services, and safety. We're going to talk about Bogota later because it matters to Pretoria. In Pretoria Central, for the most part, we don't have this perfect mix. Although I did meet someone from Sunnyside that said they've got access to everything they need, including the illegal stuff. But one may argue that you have neighborhoods, and dare I say, a city within Pretoria where you have all this stuff in one place.
When you come to Pretoria, initially the plan is to come this side. You start that side and then you move to the east. That's the plan.
You feel like you're in a different country, but you're still in Pretoria.
Even with moving, I think it's also not too bad in terms of cost and price, in terms of where.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Sun Arena, there's the Rockets, you know.
But Joburg and Pretoria, man, they'll tell you the money's different here, you know. There's a lot of opportunities. You know, where Cape Town, you got to have yourself set up, I believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is the 8,500-seater arena. It's been a big deal for the area. I got to see Kevin Hart and Russell Peters here. First one was Earlier, I said people are starting to feel optimistic about Pretoria. Well, around here, that feeling has existed for some time. In 2001, an article put it like this: it is possible to be born, grow up, be educated, get a career, retire, and eventually be buried in Pretoria East, all within a radius of less than 10 kilometers. By 2010, Pretoria East had the highest average household income in urban South Africa. It was double the national average. Even the government has felt this optimism. They're building a mega city with the private sector. They're calling it housing for the missing middle. Those who earn too much for subsidies, but too little for a bank loan. I got to check it out. The place is supposed to have its own schools, shops, and offices. Remember that 10 kilometers? That life may soon be accessible to even more people. This is the studio.
It's no longer a studio, it's a lifestyle apartment. It's almost one bed.
This it will be different project. So our first project is this one. The one I told you about 2,600 unit.
And then all of them combined will be what? Do you know yet?
More or less around 10,000 units, because each and everyone does it its own independency, own structure, and we're going to have a commercial here. This is a mall coming soon, 2026, yes. Yeah. And this is a petrol station. And here, do we see where that is a generator? That's all.
Oh, yes.
We're going to build a small parking and
Here we see space transformed, but is it for everyone? That's not so clear when the lines between public and private space are blurred. Gated communities, private schools, private healthcare, private public parks, surveillance cameras everywhere. This doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. In fact, these are some of the reasons people want to live here. And maybe the nightlife too. I wouldn't know. I'm quite boring. But let me ask you this. If you live in Pretoria East, when was the last time you went into the city center other than for work? The thing is, around here, they're not chasing another Cape Town. There's a lot of good happening in Pretoria, but it doesn't have to be a dual city, which historically it has been. Perhaps some of the good in Pretoria East can be lessons for rebuilding the center. As it happens, we know this kind of turnaround is possible because of another city in Colombia.
An advanced city is not one where even the poor use cars, but rather one where even the rich use public transport.
Bogota went from being one of the worst cities in the world, think drugs, neglected spaces, and severe inequality, all the way to being a case study for how to rebuild the city.
We are in the Domingo Ciclovia. In Bogota, every Sunday, we close about 120 kilometers of main arteries. We get more than 1.5 million people coming out. Rich, poor, fat, skinny, old, young. This is a wonderful place for integration. It's the safest place in the city.
To understand why Bogota matters, I need to take you through this framework for analyzing a city and its resilience. Here's a simplified lens that researchers used when talking about urban resilience, and they use Pretoria neighborhoods as case studies. They basically have 3 key metrics. First, diversity. Do our spaces allow different people to use them in different ways? Think Church Square, traders, lawyers, kids hanging out after school. It's a diversity of people. It's not just race, right? Intensity. Our spaces are alive with activity and not just pretty but empty. Marabastad might be chaotic, but it's full of energy and trade. Convenience. There's a simplified version of what the authors call proximity and connectivity. Our daily needs close, safe, and stitched into life. Think about roads, libraries, schools, all without having to go a 45-minute drive somewhere. Some neighborhoods nail this. Through this lens, Pretoria looks quite uneven. Some places doing it really well, others clearly in decay. So here's the good part. When you look at Bogota's transformation, the same key matrix show up. And if we view it like this, their transformation makes sense. Diversity. Parks and plazas opened up for everyone. Vendors, kids, families, commuters, not just well-off people. Intensity. With more parks, bike lanes, and transit, people fill the streets again. Activity creates safety. Safety created, vibe, buzz, whatever you want to call it. Convenience. People's daily needs were brought closer, stitched together by easily accessible walkways, buses, and even cable cars. Now, did that city solve everything? No, of course not. Crime, governance issues, inequality, some of those problems still persist. But they proved that change was possible, and enough of it stuck to make Bogota a global case study. Oh, and like Pretoria, they had a rockstar mayor. Okay, be careful. It might just be the PR getting to me. Pretoria, Tshwane says it wants to be livable, inclusive, and resilient by 2025. But the task is not just to fight decay, but to bridge invisible borders as well. The question is, will this city make it? And if it does, whose Pretoria will it be? This is how you save a city from itself. Or at least try. On that note, you should subscribe because next time I'm talking about middle-class South Africa and finally gonna talk about Cape Town because we really have to. Well, this video is about the development of the city center. I know you're probably wondering, what about the townships? Well, there's a different video you should check out if you want to have a look at that.